Day 7. Now, if you have watched this from the beginning, I said I'm gonna make it 7 days no matter what. And I'm not gonna lie, I am so freaking proud. I'm proud. But I slept for about 3 hours, and the whole time, you kind of feel like you're half awake, where you're sleeping and you're dreaming terrible, repetitive stuff, but you can still feel your body. You're thinking the whole time, you're like, I think I've been lying on my back for too long. Like, you're supposed to toss and turn. I don't know. I don't think you toss and turn. Or maybe your bones just hurt. I don't know. Anyway, I wrote down a bunch of stuff, because one of the videos I made recently, I didn't even really rant about Kratom. I just told that, like, weird gym story that made me look like a lunatic. So let me start off with this. You gotta accept you might not sleep. And this is what I've learned, because I've had insomnia. Well, I've had just drug-induced insomnia, whether being on them or off them, my whole life. And one thing I've learned is you gotta kind of just stop trying to go to sleep. You're gonna be miserable if you're, like, laying there in the dark. So just, if you wake up, like, I woke up today and I was like, yeah, I hope it's 5 in the morning. Like, that would be 7 hours. And I looked, and it was, like, 1. And I'm like, oh. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to lay here and try to get back to sleep. I'm just going to get up. And I'm not going to drink coffee. Don't drink coffee. I've learned that the hard way over the past couple days. Is coffee leads to, like, I can't do anything. I can just sit there and rock back and forth. Like, it sounds a little dramatic, but I mean, like, you know, just my body has to move. So don't drink coffee. I love coffee too. I sometimes say that drinking coffee is the only time I'm happy, that 10-minute window, but it's followed by like 6 hours of suffering, so don't do that. Number 2, I don't think you should taper. So I keep watching YouTube videos about people quitting Kratom, and I'm just sifting through people's, and they say it so confidently. They're like, step 1, gotta taper. It's like, dude, no, you don't. Like, oh, I had to reset my camera and I forgot what I was, oh, years ago, I did the taper thing, and I got to the point where I was taking less than a teaspoon, which is already small, or maybe it was a teaspoon, not a tablespoon. Every couple hours. It was still pretty brutal, and I know that's disheartening, but that was just my experience. I've seen people say that too. I just don't think it's a good idea. I think tear the Band-Aid off. Don't keep yourself in a perpetual state of pain. So last night was bad. I started off my last video, which sucked. It wasn't my best work. I mentioned I was going to the dollar store to get vitamin C. And in my head, I thought, oh, those emergency packets are just vitamin C. If you look at the front of it, it says 1,000 milligrams vitamin C. So I got home and I dumped like 4 into a cup, put a little water in it, chugged it back. And 30 minutes later, I start feeling really weird, kind of restless. And I went and looked at the packet. I turned it around. And I went, okay, so there's like 40 other chemicals in this. And I just overdosed 4 times on all of them. And one of them was niacin, which I think is in 5-hour energy. And years ago, I had to go to work at a nursing home. And I drank 2 extra strength 5-hour energies. In my mind, I thought 5-hour plus 5-hour, 10-hour energy. Like, clearly, that can't be disputed. Within an hour, I was clammy and my teeth were chattering. And I thought I was going to die. And I'm like walking around, you know, the dining room. And of course, the old ladies are like, sir. And I'm like, no, I shouldn't. God damn it. I have a dark sense of humor, dude. But it sucked. And I'm like, oh man, what did I just do to myself? And I started to not feel physical symptoms, but I felt really down. And I felt borderline psychotic to the point where everything felt gray and I couldn't focus on nothing, which is, unfortunately, is a landmark symptom. Once the acute goes away, you lose interest in things. Like, YouTube becomes less fun. But I think, I don't know if this is like junkie science or whatever, but I've heard people say that Kratom makes your brain content with doing nothing. And from my experience, that is absolutely true. I have killed some time on Kratom. So that's that. Let's see. I thought of some solutions. I saw a good comment. Somebody wrote, I think they wrote, tell yourself, just keep telling yourself, if out loud, go, it feels good to be sober. And try your best to believe it. And they wrote, you're essentially gaslighting yourself. But it's still, stuff like that works. So one thing I've been doing is randomly I just started pounding on my chest. Or I force myself to smile. That's, you know, like, I heard if you smile, you force yourself to smile, your brain thinks you're happy or something. So I went to this gym where they have a steam room. Because I didn't know what else to do. Because at that point, I was literally getting relapse thoughts every 20 minutes. To the point where out loud, I would go, no! So I was like, dude, I gotta do something to break up this monotony. So I went to the steam. As soon as I got in, there are 2 steam rooms and a sauna. I don't like saunas that much because it's too dry. And the good one, and by good I mean not as hot, was there. I could hear a family. And I'm like, I don't want to be around people right now. I don't like people not that much at all. So I went into the super hot one that makes your heart pound immediately. And I'm just sitting there. And I only lasted like 2 minutes. And then I took a break. And if you can do this, do it. And if you're like well off with money, go get some sort of gym membership that has steams. And I did it for a little bit. And it kind of helped. Because your bones feel cold and achy. So that helped a good amount. Here's another trick you can do. Let's see. Take something that is a powder. Like for me, I have valerian root, which doesn't work. And I hate to be discouraging. It just doesn't. Well, maybe it does. Sometimes I take like 5 of them before sleep. And I guess I sleep. If you're a toss and washer, dump it onto a little index card. Or whatever you do. And toss back something that isn't Kratom, but pretend it's Kratom. Keyword, pretend. That kind of helped for me. I swear, psychological was very important. One thing I've noticed, because if you ever go on the subreddit, Quitting Kratom, honestly, the greatest community I've ever seen surrounding this topic. They are so supportive and so positive. Like, you can feel it through the screen. A lot of things people mention, and I agree with, is the thoughts of relapsing and having cravings aren't strong enough, strictly, because Kratom isn't that good of a drug, man. Like, I used to take it, and I'd be like, this is like a 5% improvement to what I was feeling. I could just feel my receptors are being tickled. So the thought of relapsing is just kind of like, what's the point? It's not like you're in painkiller withdrawal. Like, there will be no more. Like, if you're in painkiller withdrawal for 6 days and then you finally just get them. Hello, is there anybody in there? Like, you know, like, it's not worth it. Just don't do it. And there's like this lethargic feeling of like, do I even want to drive to the place to get it? So I'm going to start taking 3 runs a day. Because I swear that beats pause. Wake up and just run. You don't have to run too far. Just run to the point where you're panting a little bit. And then run back. And also being outside, it's beautiful. Beautiful. The more locked up I am, which I'm locked up all the time, I feel more insane. And I think a bunch of bad thoughts. I watched a bunch of videos on supplements. And here's my point I want to make about supplements. I compare thinking that you're going to take a bunch of supplements to cure it as being addicted to buying stuff on Amazon. Because you're on that page and you're like, you're about to hit order and you're like, this will be the answer to all my problems. Like, but usually when you take supplements, you're like, you really have no way to know if it's working. Because had you not taken them, you might feel the same, might feel different. Take them because it'll get you through it. But don't put too much thought into that. And don't take loperamide or Imodium. I keep watching videos where people are like, okay, so step 1, take 90 Imodium. Like, fuck you, idiot. I was addicted to that for a year. And I actually got onto Kratom because I couldn't kick loperamide. The withdrawal was so bad that I think I went to rehab for a while. Got out, and it was like week 7, and I was still having 45-minute bad dreams. Disgustingly bad dreams. So, it really, I mean, you're free to say what you will, but it's like, come on, you idiots. Like, people are having heart attacks because of that, so don't do that. Maybe take 3 or something on day 2 and don't do it again. If you're really brave, take a small dose. DXM, okay, so this is, I know I sound like a hypocrite. I was just saying, I used to take some DXM. Maybe like 5 milligrams. And it would put you in that kind of terrible state of mind, but you wouldn't feel your body. And it used to work for me. Maybe I shouldn't tell people to do this, though. But I remember when the body pain got so bad, it would be like, okay, so if I take this amount of DXM, I just won't feel my body. But then you're like, you got that insane look on your face and eyes, and you look weird, you act weird. Somebody told me the other day to take 8 Benadryl. And I said, Benadryl doesn't help me sleep. I'm always taking that. It doesn't help you sleep during withdrawal. And she said, not if you take 8. Take 8. Take 8. And I said, that's the worst idea I've ever heard. I'm making a documentary on Benadryl addiction on my other channel. That's the first link in my description. And that stuff is dark, man. I would never do something like that, but it's interesting. I'm interviewing people. And they're all like, yeah, I take like 20 and I see a demon at my bed. And I'm like, that's terrifying. And they're like, not really. So I kind of went into the video with this expectation that it was really dark, and everybody was just like, yeah, a demon or two, like, it's not that bad. I think I'm gonna end it here. Symptomatically, my arm still hurt, but I woke up very motivated. And I'm trying to keep a positive vibe to these videos, because I want you to know that you can do it too. I don't want you to get bogged down with thinking, oh, it's undefeatable. Like, dude, it's pretty hard, but it's not that bad, and I really believe in you. I think you can do it. So thanks for watching.